How do you feel right now? And I mean really feel. Is your mind racing with a dozen thoughts, worries, or an endless list of to-dos? It's overwhelming. I mean, our minds can be cluttered just like our homes. And clutter takes up space, energy, and focus. But what if I told you there's a way to clear up that mental mess and create a sense of peace? That is the concept of mental minimalism. So why would we bother with mental decluttering? Well, let me ask you this. How much of your day are you spending thinking about things that just don't matter right now? I just want you to imagine your mind as a room. If it's just packed with clutter, old thoughts, insecurities, judgments about yourself, unprocessed emotions, it just all adds up and takes up all this space. And I don't know about you, but I cannot live in a cluttered room, a cluttered space in general, and let alone a cluttered mind. Mental decluttering isn't about having zero thoughts and nothing going on up here at all, because let's be real, we're all human and just thoughts are natural when it comes to us. However, this is about getting rid of all of the distractions and letting go of what's holding us back so that we can focus on what truly matters. Back in 2022, I was at a really low point in my life. I was very depressed, I was very sad. When I stumbled across the lifestyle and concept of minimalism, it actually changed the way I viewed life and changed the way I lived my life in general. It's really helped me realize the things that are actually in control, which ended up being my mind. I'm the only thing that's in my control, and you are the only thing that's in your control. You might have a grasp on a little bit of things in your life, but you'll never be in fully control because it can always be taken away from you. They can always hold you back at some point or another. But the only thing that you can truly control is yourself and your mind, and that's something that I've learned throughout this process of minimalism. And I'm not perfect, but it's helped me live a more intentional life, and I hopefully want to shed some light on this topic to help somebody else along the way. If you watched my decluttering guide on how to have a fresh start in 2025, this mental declutter was one of the 5 topics in that video. So if you wanted to find out the other topics, you can check that video out after this one. But I wanted to dive deeper into this topic because I did get a comment that said that they wanted to hear more about this topic. This just deserves its own video in itself. The only thing that you're in control of is you, your thought processes, your reactions, your responses, everything. Everything else, you just have to learn to let go of. You have to learn to accept. It's all about like prioritizing things that actually matter in your life and then letting go of the need to control everything else or the need to prioritize everything within balance, because you're never gonna be able to find complete balance in life, I believe, because there's always gonna be something that's going to be sacrificed in order to do something else. So letting go of the need of control for everything else in your life is so important, because you have to realize that you can only give your best effort at the best capacity that you can, one moment at a time, and one thing at a time. It's not about ignoring the need for control or ignoring your efforts for control. It's about embracing the fact that you want this control and then making the clear choice to not do that. There's no point in me needing to control the situation every single time it happens. If I always give in to for the needs of control, then I will constantly need to control everything else in my life, and that is so stressful. And I understand this because that's how I used to be in my life. I had to take some time for myself and sit back and realize what was actually going on. Like, why do I need to control these situations? And why do I feel the need and the fear of so many different negative situations when there's nothing inherently wrong right now? There is actually nothing inherently wrong. It's just my overall fear. There are going to be things that are going to pull you back into that, but that's just because we're human. You're never gonna hit 100%. You're never gonna be 100% perfect, but you can strive to be 70%. 90% of the time, I choose not to. But the other 10%, I let my fears take over because I'm human, which is okay, and it happens. Sometimes we can't always be our strongest, but if we more often than not, that sounds like a good life to me. Before we get into the next little category, I wanted to tell you guys about this book that I just finished. First of all, I'm reading this book. I haven't finished it yet. I'm only on chapter 2. This would probably be a book I would recommend in this video. Yeah, I just thought that was fitting to add. But I wanted to say there was this book that I read before this one called Influencer by Brittany Hennessy. And at the end of the book, she actually used the phrase, "Why not you?" in many different situations, and this like really stuck with me and really resonated with me. I think one of these situations she said was, someone's gonna be the next big influencer, why not you? Someone's gonna work with the biggest brands in the world, why not you? I really wanted to bring this up within this video because someone out there is going to live a life that is full of peace, no matter what bad or good things come their way. So why not you? The hardest part about mental decluttering is starting. And I get it, it's intimidating, but here is where you begin. Carve out intentional time for yourself, whether it be like 5, 10, 15 minutes a day. Journaling is the first thing. So we want to start with one part of journaling, which is a brain dump. Writing down anything that just comes to mind. No judgment, no organization, nothing. Just let your mind run free and see what happens. I would say doing this more often for a couple weeks will start to get you kind of familiar with a journal and a pen. Just being more familiar with expressing yourself this way, because it can feel very uncomfortable and very like, where do I even start? But really you could just start with anything. Just start dumping all of your thoughts on paper. And journaling is a way of expressing yourself to yourself first before anybody else. I really do believe that like everything you do for yourself yields better results for yourself and for everyone else around you and around the world. You can literally make the world a better place if you make your inner world a better place. Isn't that beautiful? Journaling is like when I declutter my closet and I throw all of my clothes into one pile. It's like picking them out, folding up the ones I want to keep, putting them nicely in a drawer, and then throwing out the rest. It's like throwing my thoughts in a journal. I do not have to feel that way. That does not define me. I'm gonna declutter that. This affirmation about myself, about how I love myself. This is a good thought though. And I'm gonna fold this up and put it back in the drawer because I want to come back to that later on. There are different ways to journal. These are all ways of journaling, by the way, that I've done. I kind of rotate amongst different types. There's obviously the brain dump. You can do daily journaling, which I've been doing actually recently, which is just journaling about my day. Daily journals, I feel like, help you obviously process your emotions, but also process what happened. Every time I've daily journaled something about what happened the day before, what's happening today, or any specific situations that happened to me, whether good or bad, has helped me process that happened and helps me deal with it better in the long run. Even if I already let go of it in my mind, bringing it back up in my journal kind of helps me find closure. I don't know, that's just me. Then there's the gratitude list, which is basically writing a list of everything you're grateful for in that moment. Affirmations. Affirmations is like, I am good enough. I am free within my mind. I've let go of the past. Everything that's meant for me is inevitably mine. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Those are some of my favorite affirmations. When I do affirmations, I write it down a lot and I say it to myself and I really like breathe it into the universe. So it's kind of like a form of manifestation. It's so easy, I feel like, to fall into negative traps in your mind where you're like, oh, I'm not good enough because this happened. You're literally manifesting negativity in your life. Positive affirmations is continuously every day saying good things about yourself so that your mind gets used to seeing the positives. Manifestation is another type of journaling, I feel like. Manifestation is kind of like affirmations, pretty much affirmations, but saying that you have already everything. I am living the life I've always dreamt of living. I am successful in my career. Another topic for journaling is I used to do this thing called introspection time. I asked myself really deep questions, super deep questions, and those helped me figure out what exactly I wanted, how my life shaped me, just so much about my life. For instance, I would ask myself, how has my culture shaped me? What's my 5-year plan? What are my boundaries in life? A lot of these stems from therapy, actually. She would ask me a lot of these questions too. I would be inspired to like ask myself even more questions to figure out more about myself and get to know myself. Let's go a step further into our mental declutter and talk about mindfulness practice. Mindfulness is the practice of paying close attention to the present moment without judgment. It's about being fully aware of your thoughts, feelings, and surroundings without being lost in them. When practiced regularly, mindfulness helps you gain control over your reactions, reduce anxiety, and make more conscious decisions. I actually use this app called Healthy Minds. This isn't a sponsored video, but I talk about Healthy Minds all the time in a lot of my videos, so this might as well be sponsored, but this app has helped me so much. Thanks to my therapist as well for recommending this to me. Thank you, Brandy. This app has helped me so much with mindfulness practice, really just like introducing me to the topic, what the idea of mindfulness is, like how to meditate. I had an image about meditation in my head before I really knew what it was. You can meditate in so many different ways, and it's really helped me be more present in the moment. I've never felt more in tune with like life and more present in life than my later half, which is basically like the last couple years, which sucks because like, why would I want to waste so much of my life like not being in the present moment? Because it can literally be taken away from me at any point. Yoga also helps me a lot, and it just helps me feel like so in tune with my body and just so present in the moment. I just feel like that's another form of meditation or like mindfulness, but I'm not an expert. I just know that this shit helped me. There's a lot of different practices you can do with mindfulness and meditation. It's a lot about breathing and focusing on the breath and doing breathing exercises. Even just doing that helped me. Breathing in the present, breathing in good, breathing in positivity. And I'm breathing out negativity, I'm breathing out the past, I'm breathing out anything that doesn't serve me. Sensory meditation. So it's basically a meditation on the 5 senses. This is one of my favorite meditations to do. Going through an anxious time, wherever you are, think about your 5 senses. Like, what can I see right now? What can I touch? What am I touching? Like maybe my hands, like in my pocket, whatever. What can I hear? What can I taste? What can I smell? Bringing your attention to all those areas helps bring you away from the anxious thoughts and direct yourself to the present moment. Averting your attention to what actually matters, which is right now, rather than everything up here. The full body scan meditation, try to remind myself to stop and think about my full body scan. So I start with my toes and I'm like, how do my feet feel on the ground or wherever it's at? What is it touching? Going up my body, so like my legs, is there any pain? If there's tension somewhere, if I'm like cramping somewhere or whatever. Just going all the way up. I breathe and I realize, okay, I'm here, I'm alive. It's kind of like a step up from journaling, I feel like, because it's really putting action and like trying, really practicing these affirmations. And the last category I wanted to talk about for your mental decluttering and mental minimalism is therapy. Therapy is a huge step up because this is the part where you ask for external help. Journaling and mindfulness, I feel like you are practicing a lot within you, and I don't think they should come in any particular order. They don't need to come in any particular order, which one you do first. I feel like at some point they should all coincide together because I feel like they're so important towards each other. And therapy gives you a safe, non-judgmental place to explore your thoughts and emotions, and not even just that, but get real guidance on how to change and reframe these thoughts and learn new practices and new techniques in order to change the way you think about things. Also, just having someone there helps you feel like you're not alone. We can also talk to our friends, we can talk to somebody we trust, someone we love. I personally feel like nothing hits better than a third person, non-biased person that knows pretty much nothing about you other than what you tell them. And it's literally their job to tell you the truth, and it's literally their job to help you. This can be a really scary step for some people. Even times where I felt like I didn't need therapy, when I was like, oh my god, things are going fine in my life, I realized there is still something I could talk about. There's always something that I could be working on. Like, just because it's going okay right now, everything's fine right now, doesn't mean like I don't have any of these like negative thoughts patterns. Life can really be a lot sometimes, and we go through a lot, and not everyone has somebody to talk to either. And it's so nice being able to go to somebody who is literally there to talk to you. Sometimes just being heard is the first step in healing, and therapy can really give us that outlet and really help us feel like we're really not alone in this, and there are things that can help us get through this, and we don't have to do everything by ourselves and figure it out. They have different types of therapy too, like trauma-focused therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy. There's different therapies out there, especially if you are dealing with very intense mental struggles, if you went through like something very traumatizing within your life. Like, I've never been like clinically diagnosed depressed, but there are times in my life where I hit very low lows. There were times where I genuinely could not fathom my thoughts. Sometimes like very obsessive thoughts too. I was going through a lot of grief, and there was very depressive thoughts going on in my head all the time. There was definitely a point in my life where I felt like I don't think anything can help me. Like, I need to see a doctor. Like, I need like help. That's where like minimalism and therapy and the mindfulness stuff and journaling really came into play for me. It really helped me get through a lot of those times, and I hope that after this video you can find the courage to like start, or even if you have been starting, you need a little push to keep going. The way I like to think about it is you are investing in yourself. Maintaining mental minimalism through journaling, mindfulness, and therapy requires a long-term commitment. It's about consistency and making small intentional choices every day to keeping your mind clear, focused, and balanced. Always be flexible with yourself and just regularly check on yourself about how you're feeling. I would also say to recognize that mental clarity is an ongoing process and it's okay to have setbacks. What matters is you continuously make these practices a part of your life in a sustainable, intentional way. By maintaining these habits, you're investing in your mental well-being, your emotional resilience, and your overall quality of life. And also, you are worthy of the time and care it takes to take care of your mental well-being. That's it for today's video, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you enjoyed this type of video, you might want to check out this video about how to declutter your digital spaces. I love you guys, and I hope you continue to find peace and clarity one day at a time. See you in the next video. Bye.